I want to show you on your calculator how to graph linear equations. So suppose you wanted to graph y equals 2/3 x plus 2. On your calculator, you're going to push the y equals button, and you'll get to this menu here. And we're going to just type in for y1. You can actually enter many equations at the same time, but we're just going to do one. So where it says y1, you're going to type in 2/3. If you want to use your fraction keys, you can. So if you hit alpha and then the y equals button to access the fraction, and we're going to have 2, right arrow key, and then 3. Now there's a shortcut key to the x. You can either do alpha and then hunt for the x, or if you right next to the alpha key, you'll see it says x, t, theta, and n. And the mode that we're in right now will give us x. If you click on that button, it will tell you x plus 2. Now, if you just hit graph, you'll get a graph depending on how you set your window. Now, my window is actually set to what's called a standard viewing window. And if yours doesn't look like this, if you hit the key marked zoom, and if you go down to number 6, where it says Z standard, you can actually just type in the 6, and Z standard will actually give you this window. And what that window is, if you would click on the window key, you'll see that it's set up where x min is -10, x max is 10, then you have a scale of 1. This is telling you how you're setting up. It's like setting up your graph paper. So in the x values, it's going from -10 to 10, and the y values are the same. And your x scale and your y scale, it's like telling me, like when you do your graph paper, I make you tell me if you're counting by 1s or counting by 2s, and it's going to really show how close the tick marks are when you do that. So again, if I show the graph, it's from -10 in the x direction to a +10, and then in the y direction, the bottom is a -10, and at the top is a +10. And so you'll see our equation, and that's actually the graph of the equation, y equals 2/3 x plus 2. If you hit the trace key, then usually the very first one it will go to is the y-intercept. And so notice that it tells you the y-intercept is 0, 2. And you could hit the arrow key. And now this will not tell you every single value that's on the number line. One of the downfalls of the calculator is it does operate on pixels, and so it won't have every single value of x to plug in. It doesn't use every single value of x, it just uses certain values of x. So it won't show you every single number on the number line, because that would be impossible to do. Suppose you have something like 2x plus 3y equals 5. Well, the problem is if I hit y equals, because remember that's where we will put our equation in, notice that they're all in terms of y equals. Well, this one's not. This is in standard form. In order to put it into your calculator, you need to have it either in slope-intercept form or at least have it solved for y. So what I'm going to need to do first, if I want to use my calculator, is I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, and I'm going to go ahead and put it into slope-intercept form. So I get -2x plus 5. I'm going to put the x term first. I'm trying to get it to look like y equals mx plus b. So next I'm going to divide each side by 3. So I'll do that on both parts. So we get y equals -2/3 x plus 5/3. So now I'm going to graph it. So I'm going to clear this, and you can just hit the clear button, and it will clear out what you had there before. I'm going to enter a fraction, -2/3, remember the x key, plus 5/3. Now if I hit graph, I should still be at that standard viewing window. And there's my graph. All right, so pretty easy to do. One thing, you can adjust your window manually. You don't have to go with what it's had it set at. Suppose you wanted to go from -5 to 5, And I'm going to leave it by counting by ones and go from -5 to 5. And now I'll hit graph. So that's going to give me, kind of zooms in a little bit on my graph when I do that. Notice that the tick marks, I'm going from -5 to +5 in the x direction, but I still get the same. I have my graph shown. If I wanted to know the y-intercept, if I hit the trace key, it will tell me 0, 5/3. And, you know, I'm going to be showing you some other ways, like you can find the x-intercept. There is a way on your calculator that you can find that, and I'll be showing you that later. But right now I just wanted to show you really the basics of how to graph an equation. Remember, if it's not already solved for y, you will actually have to solve it for y first.